So what is up, guys? Brendan Suter back, and today I am here with NFL Week, Dan Fouts, Andy Dalton, Ryan Fitzpatrick, Stephon Diggs, and DK Metcalf. It is Week 14 predictions. If you're looking to watch a certain matchup, timestamps are in the description box below, so click on that much if you want to see. Anyways, it is December, so I'm clean-shaven, but of course with the hat and the shirt, because I apparently kick ass when I wear these. Anyways, last week I was 9-5-1. It was a pretty solid week. Anyways, we have 6 teams on their bye this week, but this is going to be the last week of the byes, as we have the Atlanta Falcons, Chicago Bears, Green Bay Packers, Indianapolis Colts, my boys in the New Orleans Saints, and Washington Commanders all on their bye. I am a little bit sick, so my throat is going to be dying. But that's okay. 13 matches to get to, so without further ado, let's get this video. So we are starting off with our very first matchup between the Las Vegas Raiders and the Los Angeles Rams. Start off with the Raiders, a nice 27-20 victory you had over the Chargers last week. Derek Carr threw for 250 yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Lead rusher, of course, Josh Jacobs, continuing to explode with 144 yards and a touchdown. Lead receiver, who else but Devontae Adams, 8 receptions, 177 yards, and 2 touchdowns, followed by Matt Collins, 5 receptions, 35 yards, and then Foster Moreau, 1 reception, 32 yards. That was pretty much it, and the defense did a great job. I mean, they had one key turnover that basically changed the way that the game played out, so a good victory for the Raiders overall. And then the Rams, I mean, if it wasn't panic time before, it's panic time. Matt Stafford is out for the season, proving that you have absolutely no depth whatsoever. Starting off with John Wolford, not a great game, threw for 178 yards, no touchdowns, 2 picks. Lead rusher, though, was Cam Akers, solid game with 60 yards and 2 touchdowns. Lead receiver was Tutu Atwell, 2 receptions, 48 yards, followed by Van Jefferson, 2 receptions, 39 yards, and then Brandon Powell, 4 receptions, 39 yards. That was pretty much it, and the defense just could not keep down Geno Smith and the Seahawks. It's a tough pill to swallow. And you guys just signed the recently released Baker Mayfield, so I'm not really sure what to think. Anyways, Raiders, they're 6-point favorites to win this one. I'm going to say they win and cover the spread. Actually, no, I say they don't cover the spread. Rams keep it close. And now you have our very first Sunday matchup, a classic AFC North rivalry between the Baltimore Ravens and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Starting off with the Ravens, you pulled out a 10-9 victory over the Denver Broncos, but against any other competent opponent, not including the Houston Texans, you would have won this game. Anyways, Lamar Jackson threw for 11 yards, but he got injured. He is going to be out for the next little bit. So Tyler Huntley came in, solid game, threw for 187 yards, no touchdowns and a pick. He also led rushing with 41 yards and the game-winning touchdown. Lead receiver was Mark Andrews, 4 receptions, 53 yards, followed by Demarcus Robinson, 7 receptions, 41 yards, and then Devin Duvernay, 6 receptions, 34 yards. That was pretty much it. And the defense, I mean, you shut down the Broncos, but come on, it's Broncos country. Let's cry because we suck so goddamn much, and our future is absolutely screwed. And then the Steelers pulled off a 19-16 victory over the Atlanta Falcons. Kenny Pickett, a decent game, threw for 197 yards, 1 touchdown, no picks. Lead rush, though, was Najee Harris with 86 yards, and you had a total of 154 rush yards in the game, so it was pretty solid. Lead receiver was Pat Freiermuth, 3 receptions, 76 yards, followed by Deontay Johnson, 5 receptions, 60 yards, and then Connor Hayward, 1 reception, 17 yards, and a touchdown. That was pretty much it. And the defense, it just shut down the Atlanta Falcons, but not much of a shock because the Falcons' offense isn't all that amazing. Anyway, Steelers are 2.5-point favorites to win this one. But you know what? Even though it's Tyler Huntley at quarterback, I'm going to say the Ravens buck the trend and finally beat the Steelers because they've always, like the Steelers, they've always been the Ravens' demons, and I'm going to say that the Ravens pull out on top. And now you have our very next matchup, a classic NFC North rivalry between the Minnesota Vikings and the Detroit Lions. Starting off with the Vikings, a clutch 27-22 victory over the New York Jets. Kirk Cousins threw for 173 yards, 1 touchdown, no picks, but it was all in the rushing game. Lead rusher was Dalvin Cook with 86 yards and a touchdown, followed by Alex Mattinson with 14 yards and a touchdown. Lead receiver was Justin Jefferson, 7 receptions, 45 yards, and a touchdown, followed by Jalen Reagor, 1 reception, 38 yards, and then TJ Hawkinson, 4 receptions, 33 yards. That was pretty much it. And the defense, there was a whole lot of bending. I mean, Mike White threw for 369 yards. Nice. And y'all gave up over 120 rushing yards. But you were able just to lock down the victory. But it was closer than it should have been. And then the Lions, a nice 40-14 victory over the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jared Goff, great game, 340 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Lead rusher was DeAndre Swift with 62 yards and a touchdown. Then, of course, followed by the red zone beast himself, Jamal Williams with 35 yards and a touchdown. Lead receiver, who else but Amon-Ra St. Brown, 11 receptions, 114 yards, and 2 touchdowns, followed by DJ Chark, 5 receptions, 98 yards, and then DeAndre Swift, 4 receptions, 49 yards. That was pretty much it. And the defense just shut down the Jacksonville Jaguars. Bent a little bit towards Christian Kirk, but other than that, excellent win. So the Lions, they're 2.5-point favorites to win this one, but I'm going to say that the Vikings end up winning this game. And now you have our very next matchup, a classic AFC South rivalry between the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Tennessee Titans. So starting off with the Jaguars, a tough 14-40 loss to the Detroit Lions. Trevor Lawrence, he threw for 179 yards, 1 touchdown, no picks. He did go out with a knee injury. Not sure if he's going to be back for this week. Lead rusher was Travis Etienne with 54 yards. Lead receiver Christian Kirk, 6 receptions, 104 yards, followed by Evan Ingram, 5 receptions, 30 yards, and a touchdown. And then Marvin Jones Jr., 1 reception, 17 yards. That was pretty much it. And the defense, it just collapsed to the Detroit Lions. Not much else I could say there. And then the Titans, rough 35-10 loss to the Philadelphia Eagles. Ryan Tannehill, not his best, threw for 141 yards, 1 touchdown, no picks. Lead rusher was actually Ryan Tannehill with 34 yards, as Derrick Henry only mustered up 30 rushing yards. Lead receiver was Chigozium Aquanko, 4 receptions, 68 yards, followed by Traylon Burks, 1 reception, 25 yards, and a touchdown. And then Austin Hooper, 3 receptions, 22 yards. That was pretty much it. And the defense, you did an excellent job at shutting down the Eagles' run game, but they chose to attack that weak secondary as they threw for nearly 400 yards against you guys. Tough pill to swallow anyways, but the Titans, they're 4-point favorites to win this one. And with the questions of if Trevor Lawrence is going to come back and Derrick Henry always making the Jaguars his bitch, give me the Titans that they win and cover the spread. And now you have our very next matchup, a classic NFC East rivalry between the Philadelphia Eagles and the New York Giants. Honestly, this week, there's just so many rivalry matchups that are taking place. Anyway, starting over the Eagles, a dominant 35-10 victory over the Tennessee Titans. Starting off, Jalen Hurts, excellent game, threw for 380 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. Lead rush, though, was Miles Sanders. He could only muster up 24 yards and a touchdown. Only other guy to have a rushing touchdown was Jalen Hurts with 12 yards and a touchdown. Lead receiver was A.J. Brown. He got his revenge on the Titans. 8 receptions, 119 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Followed by Devontae Smith, 5 receptions, 102 yards, and a touchdown. And then Jack Stahl, 3 receptions, 41 yards. That was pretty much it. And the defense, just excellent performance against the Titans. Because the key is shut down King Henry, shut down that entire offense. That's pretty much how it works. And then the Giants, you tied. You tied to the Washington Commanders. Anyways, Daniel Jones, he threw for 200 yards, 1 touchdown, no picks. Also led rushing with 71 yards. And then Saquon Barkley with 63 yards and a touchdown. Lead receiver was Darius Slayton, 6 receptions, 90 yards. Followed by Isaiah Hodgins, 5 receptions, 44 yards, and a touchdown. And then Daniel Bellinger, 5 receptions, 24 yards. That was pretty much it. And the defense, I mean, they did all right against the Washington Commanders outside of scary Terry, but in the end, you were just able to force the tie. Anyways, Eagles, they're 7-point favorites to win this one. I'm going to say that they win, but don't cover the spread. But as always, I'm going to say Boston Scott pops off because that's what he does against the Giants. And now you have our very next matchup, a classic AFC East rivalry between the New York Jets and the Buffalo Bills. Starting off with the Jets, a tough 27-22 loss to the Minnesota Vikings. Mike White, not a bad game, threw for 369 yards, no touchdowns, 2 picks. Lead rusher, though, was Zonovan Knight as he had 90 yards. Lead receiver was Garrett Wilson, 8 receptions, 162 yards. Followed by Corey Davis, 5 receptions, 85 yards. And then Ty Johnson, 6 receptions, 38 yards. That was pretty much it. And the defense, I mean, there were just it struggled a little bit. I mean, sure, it kept the Vikings to under 400 yards. I was expecting a lot more from the Vikings, but ultimately, you just fell short. And then the Bills, a good 24-10 victory over the New England Patriots. Josh Allen, he threw for 223 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Lead rusher was James Cook with 64 yards, followed by Devin Singletary with 51 yards and a touchdown. Lead receiver, who else but Stephon Diggs, 7 receptions, 92 yards, and a touchdown, followed by Isaiah McKenzie, 5 receptions, 44 yards, and then James Cook, 6 receptions, 41 yards. That was pretty much it, and the defense just completely shut down the New England Patriots. I mean, it is the Patriots offense. I would expect you to shut them down, but your offense played super well against a stout Patriots defense, so a lot of credit out towards that. Anyways, Bills, they're 9-point favorites to win this one. I'm going to say that they win, but don't cover the spread. And now you have our very next matchup, classic AFC North rivalry between the Cleveland Browns and the Cincinnati Bengals. Starting off with the Browns, well, Deshaun Watson, he made his return to the NFL, and it was what I expected, just a bit of a sloppy game. Obviously, a lot of rust since he hasn't played in 2 years, but not as bad as it was, as he was 12 for 22, 131 yards, no touchdowns, and a pick. Lead rush, though, of course, Nick Chubb with 80 yards. Lead receiver, Donovan Peoples-Jones with 3 receptions, 44 yards. followed by Amari Cooper, 4 receptions, 40 yards, and then Kareem Hunt, 2 receptions, 18 yards. That was pretty much it. But the defense and special teams did an amazing job as they had a total of 3 touchdowns on the day, which was very, very impressive. And then the Cincinnati Bengals, an excellent 27-24 victory over the Kansas City Chiefs. Joe Burrow played a fine game, threw for 286 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Lead rusher was Samaje Perine with 106 yards, followed by Joe Burrow with 46 yards and a touchdown. Lead receiver Jamar Chase came back, 7 receptions, 97 yards, followed by Tyler Boyd, 4 receptions, 60 yards. Samaje Perine, 6 receptions, 49 yards, and then T. Higgins, 3 receptions, 35 yards, and a touchdown. That was pretty much it. And the defense, there was a fair amount of bending towards the Chiefs, but they were still able to pull out the victory. Anyways, the Bengals are 6-point favorites to win this one, but you know what? Joe Burrow has actually never beaten the Cleveland Browns in his career. Like, he's beaten Patrick Mahomes 3 times, but he hasn't beaten the Browns yet. But he's going to buck the trend. Bengals win and cover the spread. And now you have our very next matchup, the Battle of Texas between the Houston Texans and the Dallas Cowboys. Starting off with the Texans, a pathetic 27-14 loss to the Cleveland Browns. Kyle Allen was not great, threw for 201 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. Lead rusher was Dameon Pierce with 73 yards. Lead receiver was Chris Moore, 3 receptions, 46 yards, followed by Brevin Jordan, 4 receptions, 46 yards, and then Nico Collins, 3 receptions, 35 yards, and a touchdown. That was pretty much it. And the defense, I mean, it did a good job against the Cleveland Browns. It was the return of Deshaun Watson, so I expected the defense to do okay against the rusty Watson, but your offense just completely sold this game, and so did your special teams. And then the Cowboys, a dominant 54-19 victory over the Indianapolis Colts. It was actually 21-19 going into the fourth quarter, but then you scored 33 points in the fourth quarter. Dak Prescott threw for 170 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick. Lead rusher was Tony Pollard with 91 yards and 2 touchdowns, followed by Ezekiel Elliott with 77 yards and a touchdown, followed by Malik Davis with 29 yards and a touchdown. Lead receiver was CeeDee Lamb, 5 receptions, 71 yards, and a touchdown, followed by Dalton Schultz, 2 receptions, 33 yards, and then Michael Gallup, 4 receptions, 23 yards, and 2 touchdowns. That was pretty much it. And the defense, it just shut down the Indianapolis Colts and made their lives a living hell in the fourth quarter. Anyways, Cowboys, they're 16.5-point favorites to win this one. I'm going to say that they win and cover the spread because I actually believe in this Cowboys team. Now you have our very first 4 o'clock matchup, a classic AFC East rivalry between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Denver Broncos. Starting off with the Chiefs, a tough 27-24 loss to the Cincinnati Bengals, putting you at 0-3 against the Bengals in the year 2022, which is not a good flex because, can't really get deep into that. Anyway, starting off, Patrick Mahomes, he threw for 223 yards, 1 touchdown, no picks. Lead rusher was Isaiah Pacheco with 66 yards and a touchdown. Lead receiver was MVS, 2 receptions, 71 yards, followed by Travis Kelce, 4 receptions, 56 yards, and then Juju Smith-Schuster, 3 receptions, 35 yards. That was pretty much it. And the defense, it just really struggled against the Cincinnati Bengals. But once again, they did have Jamar Chase back, so obviously I would expect teams to be struggling against this Bengals offense. So it is what it is. And then the Broncos, still, once again, I hate you guys. Like, I know I picked Baltimore to win last week, but I had some expectations for you. But you always let everyone down. Russell Wilson threw for 189 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. Lead rusher was Latavius Murray with 47 yards. Lead receiver was Greg Dulcich, 6 receptions, 85 yards, followed by Jerry Jeudy, 4 receptions, 65 yards, and then Latavius Murray, 4 receptions, 14 yards. That was pretty much it. And the defense it played well against the Ravens, but once again, this was a Tyler Huntley-led Ravens, so I would expect you to slow it down more than if it was Lamar Jackson at helm. But still, I feel so bad for this defense because they've had countless excellent performances this year, and the offense keeps letting them down. Once again, you're in a worse position than you were last year, and you got goddamn Russell Wilson on your side. I got no sympathy for this team. Chiefs are 9.5-point favorites to win this one, and Patrick Mahomes, he owns everyone in the AFC West, so Chiefs win and cover the spread. Now you have our very next matchup between the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the San Francisco 49ers. The one match that everyone wants to see is Jimmy Garoppolo versus Tom Brady. Oh, wait, we can't even get that right now, but I'll get to that later. Anyway, starting off with the Bucs, nice 17-16 victory over the Saints, even though it completely broke my heart. Anyways, Tom Brady, he threw for 281 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. Lead rusher was Leonard Fournette with 49 yards. Lead receiver Chris Godwin, 8 receptions, 63 yards, followed by Mike Evans, 4 receptions, 59 yards, and then Rachaad White, 6 receptions, 41 yards, and a touchdown. That was pretty much it. And the defense, they did a pretty good job against the Saints. And honestly, with your offense, it was not great outside of the final 5 minutes. That was pretty much your only time of glory. Other than that, the Saints had you down. But we fucked it up, and I'm still in so much pain. And then the Niners, a great 33-17 victory over the Miami Dolphins. Jimmy Garoppolo threw for 56 yards, but he broke his foot, and now he's out for the season. So in came in Mr. Irrelevant, Brock Purdy, who was okay, 210 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. Lead rush was Christian McCaffrey with 66 yards, and he also led receiving, 8 receptions, 80 yards, and a touchdown, followed by Deebo Samuel, 6 receptions, 58 yards, and then Brandon Ayuk, 5 receptions, 46 yards. That was pretty much it, and the defense just shut down the Miami Dolphins outside of Tyreek Hill, but once again, Tyreek Hill was insanely hard to stop. Anyways, the 49ers are currently 3.5-point favorites to win this one. I'll say they win and cover the spread, even though it is Brock Purdy at QB. And now you have our very next matchup, a rematch of the 2013 NFC divisional game between the Carolina Panthers and the Seattle Seahawks. Starting off with the Panthers, you're on your bye last week, but you beat the Broncos 23-10. Sam Darnold, in his first start, was okay, 164 yards, 1 touchdown, no picks. Lead rusher was Dante Foreman with 113 yards, and you had a total of 105 rush yards in the day, which was pretty impressive. Lead receiver DJ Moore, 4 receptions, 103 yards, and a touchdown, followed by Ian Thomas with 2 receptions, 21 yards, and then Laviska Shenault Jr., 2 receptions, 19 yards. That was pretty much it. And the defense had shut down Broncos country let's ride offense. So not really all that impressive. And then the Seattle Seahawks clutch 27-23 victory over the LA Rams. Geno Smith played an excellent game, threw for 367 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick, including a nice game-winning drive. Lead rush was DJ Dallas with 37 yards, followed by Kenneth Walker with 36 yards. Lead receiver Tyler Lockett, 9 receptions, 128 yards, and a touchdown, followed by DK Metcalf, 8 receptions, 127 yards, and the game-winning touchdown. And then Noah Fant, 4 receptions, 42 yards, and a touchdown. That was pretty much it. And the defense had some trouble against the run game of the Rams, but it shut down the pass game. Anyways, the Seahawks are 4-point favorites to win this one. I'm saying they win and cover the spread. And now you have our Sunday Night Football matchup between the Miami Dolphins and the LA Chargers. Going to be Tua Tagovailoa versus Justin Herbert. What's not to love about this match? Starting off with the Dolphins, a pathetic 33-17 loss to the San Francisco 49ers. Tua Tagovailoa had his worst game of the season. Threw for 295 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 picks. Lead rusher was Raheem Mostert with 30 yards. Lead receiver, who else but Tyreek Hill, 9 receptions, 146 yards, and a touchdown. Followed by Trent Sherfield, 1 reception, 75 yards, and a touchdown. And then River Cracraft, 2 receptions, 29 yards. That was pretty much it. And the defense fell apart to the Niners, and it was mostly led by Brock Purdy. So it is a very, very tough pill to swallow. And then the Raiders, it was a Chargers tough 27-20 loss to the Las Vegas Raiders. Herbert was admirable, threw for 335 yards, 1 touchdown, no picks. Lead rush was Austin Eckler with 35 yards, but the game-changing fumble, which hurt. Lead receiver Keenan Allen, 6 receptions, 88 yards, and a touchdown, followed by Gerald Everett, 5 receptions, 80 yards. And then Austin Eckler, 5 receptions, 67 yards. That was pretty much it. And the defense just had some struggles against the Raiders, but mainly it was Josh Jacobs and Devontae Adams. Anyways, Dolphins, they're 3-point favorites to win this one, but give me the Chargers. This is going to be upset of the week. Justin Herbert stunts Tua Tagovailoa. Why? Because I love Justin Herbert. And now you have our Monday Night Football matchup between the New England Patriots and the Arizona Cardinals. Starting off with the Patriots, a tough 24-10 loss to the Buffalo Bills. Mac Jones threw for 195 yards, 1 touchdown, no picks. Lead rusher was Ramondre Stevenson with 54 yards. Lead receiver was your cornerback, Marcus Jones, who, if you remember, had the game-winning punt return against the Jets. 2 receptions, 51 yards, and a touchdown, followed by Tyquan Thornton, 2 receptions, 31 yards, and then Ramondre Stevenson, 6 receptions, 24 yards. That was pretty much it. And the defense, it just bent and broke against the Buffalo Bills. But, not really that shocked because the Bills are a very, very good team. And then the Arizona Cardinals, you were on your bye last week, but lost 25-24 to the Chargers last time. Kyler Murray threw for 191 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. Lead rusher was James Conner with 120 yards, followed by Kyler Murray with 56 yards and a touchdown. Lead receiver was DeAndre Hopkins, 4 receptions, 87 yards and a touchdown, followed by Hollywood Brown, 6 receptions, 46 yards, and then James Conner, 3 receptions, 20 yards, and a touchdown. That was pretty much it. And then the defense just bent and it broke to the Chargers, especially on the final drive. as they scored a touchdown and got the game-winning 2-point conversion. And you are going to be missing Zach Ertz for the rest of the season, so that is a huge loss to the receiving game. Patriots are favored to win this one by 1.5. I'm going to say that they win and cover the spread. And that is going to wrap up my video for today. Thank you guys all so much for watching. If you want to watch my last prediction video, click right over here. If you like this video, drop a like, subscribe to my channel by clicking over here, or the subscribe button down below. Comment down below what your thoughts are. Who is your upset of the week, lock of the week, favorite team going to win. Follow me on all my social medias, Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok at Brendan Suter. Thank you all for watching. Have a great day. Who Dat Nation and the Blue Jays Christmas merch, because I'm just way too good in these, is out.